I'm Heyzeus, and this video is on the MP5 Lab Rat, a skin that kicked off 2019 with a bit of a disaster for anyone who invested in it, and we're going to see just what went wrong. Now, this skin has a special version called a Red Rat, and I may mix up the names of the two at certain points, so sorry about that, but it is going to happen, and in any case, I think we can get started on things. So, the MP5 Red Rat is a skin that was available to prime CSGO players as a souvenir reward for getting 250 XP in Danger Zone. It had a pattern-based appearance leading to some relatively rare finishes, and it was dropped from the 6th of December to the 9th of January 2019. And being a limited time item, there was interest in it as an investment. Now, I never saw anyone going balls to the wall with it and stocking up on thousands of them, although I'm sure there are some people out there who did, but I definitely noticed a lot of people stocking up on 10 or 20 of them at a time. But unfortunately for the people that bought in, these investments didn't exactly go to plan, and depending on how you want to count things, these skins have shed around 60 to 70% of their value, which is pretty bad by CSGO standards. If you're investing in major stickers, for example, even in the worst case scenarios, you generally have to deliberately fuck things up to lose more than 20% of your money. And if you overpaid for a special rare Lab Rat pattern, you probably got stung quite a bit more than that. So I want to examine just what went so catastrophically wrong here. Now, the key feature of the Lab Rat is that every single CSGO Prime account could get one, and that meant it was available to about 10 million CSGO players. So even if only 1 in 20 players got one, that's still 500,000 Lab Rats, and that might not be such a huge number if it was an AWP Asimov, but this is an average looking skin on a gun that not a lot of people use. And on top of that, this skin didn't really have any uses other than as a play skin. You couldn't trade them up or anything, so there was no mechanic reducing the number of them on the market. And when you put these things together, it's not that surprising that they didn't work out. There was too many of them and there wasn't enough demand. So if you bought some Lab Rats as an investment and it didn't work out, look, shit happens. It's nothing to feel bad about, it's not a big deal. But there's an extra element to this short-lived craze that I think deserves to be drilled into quite a bit more deeply. Now, you might remember a short little craze around the ultra-rare blue leaf pattern on the XM1014 seasons after a man, sometimes called the King of Skins, made a video about the pattern. And despite quite a bit of skepticism from a lot of people, including McSkillet himself, there was a group of people who went nuts trying to buy them up, thinking they'd be more valuable in the future, including one guy who apparently went full retard and paid $125 for one of them. But being a pattern on a purple tier skin on an XM1014, it turned out that these things weren't worth jack shit. Shocker, right? Who could have seen that coming? Anyway, you might remember me saying that the Lab Rat has rare patterns, and it does. It's got several rare patterns in fact, and the best of these around is the Red Rat pattern. You know, amazing, right? It makes the skin look marginally less stingy. Now, after the whole blue leaf debacle, you might think that people would be a bit skeptical of this pattern, and most of them were, but there were a few that weren't as well, and one of them made this guide on the various patterns you could get on your Lab Rat. And for the most part, this is a very nice guide. It's well structured, it's nicely written, there's useful photographs, it's a model example of how to write one of these things up. Except for this one section down here where it talks about the future price of the Red Rat pattern. And I won't read it verbatim to save time, but basically it says that Red Rats are going to go up in price because they're rare and therefore people and collectors will want them, and it also adds that demand should pick up over time as more people will become aware. Now, it did also get some attention from Turbo Motions before his old channel got nuked, but he was pretty skeptical of the pattern, so it's not really like he hyped it up. But this statement from the Steam guide does seem to have encouraged people to buy Red Rats, and unfortunately, it suffers from a couple of fairly common misconceptions which are worth having a look at. Firstly, it says that the Red Rat pattern is rare. Now, according to the guide, only 1 in 200 skins have a top tier Red Rat pattern, and that might sound rare, but what it means is that even if only 1 in 20 players with Prime got a Lab Rat drop, there's going to be 2,500 top tier Red Rat patterns out there, and that might not be a huge number, but for a skin like a Lab Rat, it's definitely not rare. Secondly, it assumes that people will buy stuff just because it's rare, and this is simply wrong. If we all bought stuff just because it's rare, we'd all be hoarding e-Beetle stickers right now because they're rare, but of course we don't. And what the hell even is an e-Beetle? Anyway, I think this whole misconception stems from the fact that expensive things often are rare because people buy them, but assuming people will buy something just because it is rare is a case of having the cart before the horse. And how much are people going to overpay just for a red rat pattern anyway? I mean, is it that much better than the ordinary skin? I mean, we're not talking about a snazzy AK here. It's a nice but slightly dingy looking MP5 skin. You may disagree, but I don't see anything special here that any ordinary player is likely to overpay for. And as for collectors, well, here are the sort of things that collectors normally buy. You know, rare knives, Cutter 14 crafts, rare souvenirs. Does the MP5 look like it fits in here? I don't think it does. I don't think it fits the mold of something that collectors would want at all. And to sum all that up, people got carried away with the notion of rarity without properly considering whether the pattern even is rare and whether people are going to want to buy it. And I bring it up because at some point there will be a new skin added to the game with a pattern that creates a similar situation to this. And I don't know how much money people lost on the red rat, but hopefully next time it's going to be less. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, subscribe. Otherwise, trust the numbers, not your guts. I'm Heyzeus. Thanks for watching. See ya.